What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Motorfest. So you know what? I did want to make a video today going over something I found fairly interesting. Now, it's probably going to be me most likely taking a deep dive into things that probably aren't going to be true, but I do like doing this because I do find this stuff pretty dang interesting. So, one thing I did want to talk about with this, though, is going to come down to something fairly simple. That is going to be the security vehicles of the Enforcer, I guess you could say Interceptor, Enforcer, probably depends on the class you do end up looking at, but a lot of players were talking about these classes being part of the Rivals missions and how you can legitimately use these in everything. Funny part is, though, we are going to have a few classes, like, for example, Rally right here, that is going to have a total of 3 of these Enforcer units, and also Rally that does have 2 of them. The thing is, though, you're also going to have the hypercars here, like the lovely 4GT. I love this thing, and it might even be one of my favorite interception, or I guess you could say like Enforcer unit type of vehicles in the game at the moment. We're then, of course, going to have the Veneno and the Chiron after that. Moving over to Street Tier 2, though, there's going to be a good amount of these guys. We have the lovely 3000 GT here. We're then going to have the Challenger SRT Demon, the Stingray, the MA Competition, which I think looks awesome. We're then going to have the Shelby GT500, kind of looks like the Decepticon. Am I right? We're then going to have the Crown Victoria for Street Tier 1. So there is going to be a good amount of these. Now you might be wondering, well, Block, why does this actually matter if we have these cars? So the thing is, guys, we all do know right now if you are going to be doing the new Chase Squad thing, which we all do know are going to be these new cars here, like the Ogmosis, I think Ogmios, however you say that. We have the Ezeus, or whatever you want to call this thing, the Lycan Hypersport, and so on. These are going to be the cars you can use on basically all of the rival missions around, like, for example, the one right over here. Funny part is, though, guys, you can legitimately use any of the Enforcer units on these, though. This is what I found interesting. Also, before I talk about that, though, I gotta ask you guys, what is your favorite interception unit in the game? Which one do y'all like the most? I'm kind of torn between the lovely M8 here. I think this is probably my favorite street one. And then probably in Hypercar, I'm most likely going to pick the 4GT. But the thing about this, though, is I do know a lot of players are probably looking at the rival board going, okay, so am I going to have to use a class I don't want to use on this, or can I probably run something else that I'm most likely going to enjoy even more? And the funny part about this, though, is when I was looking at the Rivals thing, I was like, okay, so you can use like a Street Tier 2 vehicle, like a Hypercar, a Tier 1 and stuff like that, but I was like, wait a second. You can actually use regular Enforcer vehicles on legit any of these? Well, turns out, guys, you legitimately can. Let me head over to the Devil Cat over here, and I'll show this real fast with the M8. Funny thing is, guys, I feel like a lot of players have been using some of the Enforcer vehicles because, quick little secret, I think some of them might be better than some of the regular cars that came out in the Chase Squad update. Yeah, bro, where are you going, dude? Come back over here. I thought I was driving over to him, and he legit just drove away. Dang, that little, Fiat be moving. Let's engage it. Let's chase. What car is it going to let me use? Oh, look at that. Okay, so here's a good example, guys. You can use legit any chase squad vehicle, but you can also run any of the interception units on top of it. Let's do it. Let's use the M8 and see how this thing can do on this. Now, the reason why I did want to talk about this in a video is, would you guys like to see something like this added to where everybody can try out the rivals using these Enforcer vehicles? The thing is, well, if it was going to be locked to something like only the new Chase Squad vehicles, then why can't we use the Enforcer vehicles? Because here's the thing. These are legitimately police cars, man, so that's probably going to be the point of it. We all do know we got a bunch of police cars in the Crew 2. The Crew 1 had them, but we didn't get those. But the Crew 2 had all those Enforcer units, the Interception units, and then we did end up getting the lovely Chase Squad vehicles after that. So my question is, though, what was the point of adding the Chase Squad vehicles into the game? Or was that really going to be a great idea, even though we already had the Enforcer unit? So it kind of made me wonder, like, they probably could have gotten away with the entire Chase Squad thing, most likely being tied to the Enforcer vehicles, but then again, they would not have to add, like, new cars and all that, or, you know, they probably wouldn't have, like, an entire paid playlist or something in the game. But it really does make me wonder, though, guys, have you been using the regular interception units over something like the Chase Squad? What are y'all doing, bro? I really wonder about the AI cops in this, man. I kind of wonder what they're doing half the time. The thing is, though, these cars are legit just going to be almost as good as those. Oh, look at that. There it is. That was a good hit. All right, I'll take that. Flipped him over, too. But besides that, though, this is going to bring me to the other question I did want to ask, which I have been noticing many players saying it, and that is going to be down to the fact of, well, if I already have the Enforcer units or the Interception units, Why do I have to use a chase squad vehicle if these are also usable? Don't y'all think that's kind of interesting to think about? Like, we all do know the entire thing of the update was, get the chase squad vehicles, do the missions itself. We all do know the playlist itself as well, going to be like a one and done type of thing. Nobody really is playing through those events again. But the thing is, though, if you are playing through the rivals things, then yeah, you can legitimately run any vehicle of your choice. And let's be real, most people are probably not playing the main events in the playlist. I mean, most of the playlists in general are not really replayed that often, but I would say the Rivals itself is going to have a decent replayability to it. And I'm willing to bet right now a lot of players are like, yo, this M8's pretty good in this. It does a great job at it. Maybe if I use the Bugatti or something, or maybe one of the other cars, those are also great. Funny part is, guys, I am going to show a clip after this of me chasing one of the cars in the Bugatti. That thing is insanely good, probably because of the weight, and it's funny because I picked that over the new chase squad vehicles that you do end up having to pay for. Yes, and that's what I found really funny about this, though. Let's say you did end up wanting to buy the chase squad, you buy it, you get the entire thing. You're going to then unlock the entire rivals thing to where you can chase them like I am here. The funny part is, though, you do not have to use any of the chase squad vehicles afterwards, so you basically did end up just playing for the playlist because you don't have to buy this. So technically, if we are being real here, you don't have to use a chase squad vehicle on any of these if you don't want to. Which does raise me another question, though. If you don't have to use them, then why can other players try this out, maybe use something like an enforcer vehicle on it? Because let's be real, these are all police cars as well, similar to the chase squad. And I have to be honest, I think some of these cars look a tad better than the chase squad ones. And here's the thing, though, I feel like to a certain extent they most likely did end up designing the rivals thing on purpose to where you can use an interception unit if you do end up owning them from the crew 2, which I would say basically everybody has at least one of these. So like, yeah, you could jump into a rivals and run it. The thing is, though, guys, I do understand it's not going to be part of the rivals update, but we do end up having Rally Raid and Rallycross versions of them. And that's the thing, though, they could probably add something along the lines of maybe being able to do other rival missions using a lot of the interception units in like Street Tier 2 and Hypercars as well, on top of something like the off-road versions in Rallycross or even Rally Raid. Imagine being able to chase another car in like a Rallycross event or something. Maybe you have like Rally Raid where you're chasing a truck up a mountain or something like that. I mean, we have the vehicles in the game for it. It could be some type of update. The only thing I was thinking about a bit with this, though, is if they were to add it, well, is it going to be something in the game that's not going to be paid? Is it paid or something? I gotta admit, guys, I do feel like the entire Chase Squad playlist thing was a very odd thing to try to monetize. Like, I admit it. We already had the interception, the enforcer units in the game, so they did end up adding other Chase Squad vehicles that were part of that said playlist that you're going to get if you pay for it, that you have to run in those missions. Well, you are going to have to use those vehicles if you want to, but during the playlist events itself, then yeah, you have to run them. During the rivals, though, you can legitimately use all the old interception vehicles you do own in legitimately basically all of them, which is going to mean that yes, you did end up buying the playlist, though, but you bought the rival thing, that now you can use your old vehicles from the crew 2 in those said events. Isn't that kind of interesting how you can actually use your old vehicles in there while you did have to buy the newer Chase Squad vehicles for them? And in some aspects from what I'm seeing, well, the interception units literally feel almost identical to those, and they're going to be insanely similar to them. The only difference is, yeah, you're going to have a crazy livery on it, which from what I've seen, basically nobody likes that from what I've noticed. And also you're going to have the lights. Yeah, it's going to glow in the dark, big whoop. But we're already going to have the interception units with the lights around it. They're going to look like normal police cars, or at least close to it, in the universe of the Crew series. And also, speaking of the fact that you can run any of the interception vehicles in the rival chases instead of using a chase squad vehicle, you guys know what's also going to be really funny about this, looking at the part set here. Heading over to this one, guys, you notice how on this one I'm going to have the lovely extra impact on it. Increased points in chase, I am going to be running pure. But yes, you can legitimately have that entire set on these vehicles, just like you would on the regular chase squad. I think I have one on hyper. Here it is. So this is going to be on hyper, guys. It's going to be bulldozer and extra impact. You could probably say it's going to be the best possible build you can run on something like one of these. But the funny part is, though, you can legitimately put this set on every single other vehicle that is not going to be a chase squad. So guess what? You legitimately can have the same performance in like a Bugatti or something like the Veneno as you would in like the Porsche you had to pay for to do the rival events. Definitely a pretty interesting thing. Do let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. What do you think about the interception vehicles being part of the entire Rivals thing? And would you like to see more of these events come up in the future, whether it's like maybe you have to run the interception units or you have the option, that way everybody can do them? Would you like to see something like the Crown Victoria in there? Or even maybe seeing Rivals where you have to use like a rally raid vehicle and chase them over like a mountain or some crazy routes or something? And even on top of that, we could have something like the Rallycross with it, which would be pretty insane. I mean, look at these guys. Some of these Enforcer vehicles are pretty dope, and I feel like in some ways, though, it's definitely going to be open to the fact that you could have events with these because they're already in the game. And I'm probably going to guess right now and say many players are barely even using the Chase Squad vehicles because once I did end up discovering, guys, I can use an interception unit. I am basically only running these in the Rivals missions now, which means, well, I don't even really need the actual Chase Squad vehicles. Do let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Interception units or Chase Squad, which ones do you prefer? And do you really think the entire Chase Squad thing was a great idea? But then again, we're also going to have the interception units, so why end up picking something like this, which I know people do not like the livery, or you can run something like this.